Welcome to the Tarot Tapestry, a weaving of self-discovery, where three tarot mavens put their heads and hearts together to offer their wisdom and insights about the tarot. We hope that you find this helpful in your personal journey to self-discovery and growth.
Join us as we explore ways to use tarot for self-reflection and self-correction.
Together, we'll discover new ways to use tarot to weave threads of understanding into the tapestry of your life.
Hi, I'm Angie.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Linda, and this is the Tarot Tapestry with the Tarot Trio. So we're going to talk about the Magician today. And before I came here, I decided to pull out my old faithful, Tarot for Yourself by Mary K. Greer, which is sort of where I always go when I need a little bit of basic guidance, just definitions, and good places to start with whatever card that I might be wanting to know a little bit more about. So that's what I did for the Magician. And I just thought I'd throw out a few words here if you guys are okay with that. So a Magician corresponds to Mercury in the planets. So the messenger, Hermes, you can think about that. So it's consciousness, a sense of self, focusing your attention on a project or a goal, singleness of purpose, commitment, being in control, dexterity, skill, manual ability. It's organizational skills, manipulating nature, communication, and using the skills of writing, speaking, and persuasion, and the animus, or one's sense of self. So I think that's really interesting, because I think if you were to ask just the average person in the street what they think of when they think of a magician, they would not say any of these things. They would say somebody who performs tricks, somebody who makes you believe something or tries to make you believe something that didn't happen, or that manipulates reality. Do you hear the dog in the background? Okay, he's whining like crazy. So I just think the tarot definition of magician is very different from what our common definition is out in our culture today.
I definitely agree. I think when I think of David Copperfield and making the Statue of Liberty disappear or whatever is kind of the go-to mind picture that people draw when they talk about magicians. Or have you ever watched Arrested Development?
No.
There's then it might not be too funny, but there's a guy in there, Joe Bluth, and he's ridiculous. And it's very silly. Like they really, kind of poke fun at people who do magic at parties and that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, the tarot magician is somebody who knows, they at least know what they have, and they have very good ideas about how to put it together to make what they want to happen.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because when I look, I sort of compared, I pulled out 6 different cards, but 3 of them are more traditional, and all of the 3 traditional ones have a person who is in front of or at a table, and on the table there is a cup, a wand, a sword, and a pentacle. So a lot of the times when I pull this card for people, and if I'm doing a reading, the first thing I say is, whatever it is that you're trying to get, whatever it is that you're working towards, you have everything, all the resources that you need inside of you to make a plan, to go forward, to figure out. You might need more things, but you have the mental ingenuity and the ability to make those plans and carry them into the world before you ever have any widgets that you might need. So it all starts with an idea. It all starts with a plan, and nothing happens before that.
So some of the words that came to mind about the magician is manifestation, willpower, communication, resources, and creativity. And I started to think about, and the word that attracts me the most to the magician is manifestation, because to me, the magician is like the great manifester, right? So if there are things that I want to do in life, if there are creative endeavors, if there is a job that I want, if I want to, work on making my body healthier, anything that I want or desire, I can manifest, right? I have that ability. And that's what the fool sets out to do, right? The fool is like, there's something that I want to do. I jump off that cliff, I start going. And then he meets up with the magician, and the magician is sitting there at the table, like you said, Linda, with all of the resources right there, saying, whatever it is that you need is right here for you to utilize, right?
Exactly.
And then my job is to look at that and say, okay, so what are these things and how can I use them? So I love, and then the fact that I have been working on like intentions and manifesting with the moon cycles. I love the idea of the magician being the manifester. And then it was funny because you guys were talking about the traditional understanding of what the magician is, right? So people who don't do tarot, like you said, they look at it's sleight of hand, they're tricking you. They're very good communicators because they will say things to kind of lure you over to their table to get you to believe what they're doing, right? So they're very good communicators, and they're like tricksters, right? Because that's like another part of the magician is a trickster. But I kind of love using that because, like, asking yourself if a card does come up and say I am having difficulty manifesting something, where in all of that may I be tricking myself, right? Like, where may I be communicating something to myself that is not true? Because you know what? We all do it, right? We all have these patterns of thinking and things that we say, and we can literally trick ourselves or talk ourselves out of doing something, right? So I like the idea of the magician as a trickster for that purpose. I love the idea of their ability to like persuade you. They engage your audience, right? They really, like, if you go to a magician show, like, you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen, right? So you're like using your communication skills, right? And it's also represents the power of words. What you say to yourself. How do I engage myself with my maybe communication skills in manifesting what it is that I want and that I desire? And I loved looking at it in like just a little bit of a different way. And then I love the cards that have the magician that has all of the elements there, like you said, Linda. Right. And I love the idea of like what each of them symbolize. Right. So if I want to manifest my desires, the swords are going to represent, like you said, my mind, right? My thinking, my communication, my intellect. Those are tools that are necessary for you to start working on something, right? Your pentacles, those are all of your physical resources that are available to you. Money, material things, our body, all of these things that you can utilize to help you, right? Then you have the wands, and the wands are our drive. It's our willpower. It's our motivation. It's what we embody. It's the energy that kind of drives us forward, and then you have the cups, and that's like our emotions, our creativity. It's how we feel about something and how that feeling influences what we do and how those feelings influence the other elements that are available to us and how we can use them either in a positive way or in more of a negative way. And I just love the idea of the magician too, is just being like, he creates life. Like the fact that somebody can create this optical illusion for you is like another way of saying, you can do the things that you didn't think you could do. Did I ever think that somebody could make a rabbit come out of a hat when I was younger? No. But you know what? It's possible. Like there are things that you don't think that you can do, but it's possible to get it done.
That's awesome. That was amazing.
I wanted to say one thing too. In the Rider-Waite, they have all of the tools on the table, but the magician isn't touching the tools. He's drawing down the energy from where it comes from, and he's got his little lemniscate. So it's what you do with what you have, right? He's not touching the elements. He's not really manipulating the elements. He is focusing on what is going to happen because they have the knowledge of how to combine everything and turn it into something that they don't want. And you can do that backwards too. You can be kind of a show magician and just be like, look over here, I'm not really going to do anything about these things, do a little song and dance.
Nothing up my sleeve.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so I always like that too. It's kind of a very good demonstration of how you can have all these things, but if you don't consciously bring them together in the way that you want them to be, and understand that there's a lot going on that even you, as the person who's making it happen, you're not going to see it happening, but you just have to stay tapped into that source, I guess.
Right.
That as above, so below. But not until I'm ready for it to get here, right? You have to.
Yeah.
So I like
that's a really cool observation. I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. I've got that card on the table too, and I really like the diagonal line that comes from the pointed double-ended candle to where he's pointing down. That's something about that is really pleasing to me, and I don't know why.
I like it, I think, because it's like he's saying this is where it comes through, and that's where I want to see it. Like,
right, exactly.
I want to see it right there.
Yeah.
That's
and
like the manifester, right? Like I am manifesting what's coming from above. I am manifesting it right here on this physical plane.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And the other thing I like in this, and also in the it's not in the Russian one, but in the Aquarian tarot, both, they have that Ouroboros around. It's their belt. The snake with its tail in its mouth, which is like the never-ending circle. So this is not just something that happens once by a fluke. It's like something that you can do for whatever over and over. It's
That was so good.
And I like the card from Anna K Tarot. And I just love the magician, and I just love that little swirly universe nebula type of looking thing, because it's like what you want is like right there in the palm of your hand. Like you may not see it, you may not know what is going to happen, but it's like it's time, it's the universe, it's like anything is possible if you just, really put your energy and your strength behind you to make it happen.
Yeah, this is the one from the Osho Zen. It's called Existence.
Oh, I love that.
It's just to me, it's very primal. Just sitting in a big, huge leaf, naked under the stars. I mean, I kind of felt like that before we had all the mess in Texas, when I would go out. My friend Alice had a pool, and I would go out like this. And because she was so far away, the sky, sometimes I could see the Milky Way, I could see, shooting stars, and I would just lie in the water and look at the sky. It was amazing. Because there's so much light pollution, but she lived so far out that it was, if I could get get where I didn't have to see any of the lights from the other houses, I could pretty much see a sky like that, which was just it was something else.
I would love to see a sky like that. Like you cannot see that here. And I've seen pictures and videos of just seeing the Milky Way. I don't think I have ever seen the Milky Way in my entire life that I can remember. You know, and I can like, my sister lives out towards the very tip of Long Island. And at night, you know, the light pollution is not so bad. So you can see stars there, more stars than I could ever see in my own home, but you can't see more of that, you know? And it's like, I would love to be in a place where I could just lie there, like you said, Linda, just lie and look up at the sky. I think
come visit me in Pueblo.
I would feel like I'm in heaven. Is there?
There's some places out here that you can go to.
Well, I might take you up on that offer, Linda. Okay. Well, be careful what you say to me, because I might just do it. All right.
And then the Fantastical Creatures Tarot is this is the Magician.
Oh, it's a kitty.
Yeah, a little winged cat.
Oh, so, he looks like Obi. He looks like my cat. Yeah.
Which you all know that I'm not a cat fan, but it's a cute cat. and it makes sense to me, because cats are kind of weird, and they do things that you wonder, like, how did you manage to manipulate your body into that configuration and not die? You know, so that makes sense. But yeah, I very cool card, and I definitely have more of appreciation of it since just doing this little bit of research. And Kate, your description was just amazing. That's just like so good.
It was so thorough, and I just loved that you went. That was so cool.
I might just have to transcribe that and save it.
Oh,
should we pull a card?
Yes,
I was just thinking the same thing. Yes.
What should we ask? Are we just gonna like pull one and see how it works with the magician? What would the magician say about this card, or what would the magician
I like that idea.
This card, maybe. What would the magician tell me to do with this card?
Oh, there's a good idea. What would the magician tell me to do with this card? Okay. All right, pull the card. Now I'm afraid to turn it over.
I got the 5 of Wands.
5 of Wands. Okay.
So, you guys are too fast. I like take forever in shuffling my cards.
You could shuffle. You shuffle as long as you want, Mama.
Yeah, just don't shuffle off to Buffalo. Buffalo's too far away.
5 of Wands is, I always stupid tent. Like, who's got the instructions to build the tent is what I always think of when I see the Rider-Waite 5 of Wands, because it's just people like they're all like, you know, they look like they're probably making noise and banging the sticks together and swinging them around, and it's just kind of chaotic, and I feel like everybody's trying to build a different thing. Everybody has a different idea about what these 5 sticks should build, and they're just arguing about it.
Everybody wants to be in charge.
Yeah, instead of figuring out, you know, what they're going to do. And if I was the magician and I came upon these people, I think I might just stand and watch them for a few minutes first, just to, and then I don't know. I think maybe he would tell these people to focus and to collaborate, or to decide that they're going to go their different ways, or 2 of them are going to go together and the other 3 are going to go another way. But I think he would tell them to just cool their shorts, because nothing can get done in chaos when nobody's got a goal, or when there's not a singular goal. I think everybody in the 5 of Wands has a goal.
Has a goal, but
has a different
they're all
one.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's interesting, because when I think about that, and I think kind of in the serious vein, that I totally agree with everything you said. The other way that I would look at it is the magician would come along, and they seem to be so serious and kind of angry, and I would be like, guys, have some fun. You know, just play with it. Just play with it and see what happens. And you know, it's
easier.
You know, it's kind of like, did you all ever see Men in Tights? Robin Hood Men in Tights? No, you haven't seen Robin Hood Men in Tights? You saw Robin Hood Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner? So this
You know,
is
it sounds familiar,
okay.
but
So
I can't
if you've
remember.
ever seen the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner and Alan Rickman plays the evil sheriff of Nottingham. Okay, so Robin Hood Men in Tights is Mel Brooks, and it's a total spoof of that movie. Total spoof. So there's the scene where they're fighting with the quarterstaffs in the stream, right? In the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie, and Robin Hood gets knocked off and into the water and blah blah blah. So in the movie Men in Tights, they're fighting over this it's a little ditch about this wide, and there's a tiny little footbridge, and they're fighting, and they break it, and they end up with a piece of quarterstaff that's about this long, and they're just doing this over the footbridge. And it's just a screaming hoot. And I kind of feel like, that's what we were looking at when we look at the, just like, lighten up and play. Lighten up and make it a game. Don't take it all so seriously. I think the magician might have something to say about that.
That's interesting.
But that's your assignment. You guys have to find that movie, Robin Hood, Men in Tights, and watch it.
And I like Mel Brooks, right? He does some
yes, it's an absolute scream.
Funny stuff. Yeah.
Especially if you've seen the Kevin Costner movie, which I love, but it also is so serious. It's very serious. And this movie is anything but serious.
See, and I was thinking like the magician coming over and seeing these people do this with the stick. And I just see the magician going like, hey guys, put the sticks down, sit down in a circle, take one stick and talk to each other. And only one person can hold the talking stick at a time. Talk about it, discuss with each other, share your ideas. What is going on? What do you want to build? How are you going to build it? Have conversations, listen to each other, and then get up and start doing what needs to be done.
The magician is obviously a woman.
I didn't want to say it, Linda. And I didn't want to say all the people sitting in the circle were the men. I didn't want to say that either.
That's okay. I said it.
Yes, we did. We put it out there into the universe. Okay, so I got the Two of Cups. And what I love about this deck in the Two of Cups is this like energy coming from these two cups and kind of merging with the two people that are holding hands, right? It's just such a beautiful card. And it makes me think of the magician kind of telling you that magic can happen with other people. Like magic doesn't only happen with yourself. Like, yes, we can create magic, but you can create even more magic when you have other people that you're creating it with, and that the connection between you and another person, and it doesn't have to be, a romantic partnership, right. Just the energy that's created when two people work together to make something can be so much more than what you try to just do on your own. And I look at myself personally, that when I try to do things solely on my own, I don't feel as happy and as excited as I do when I'm working with other people. Like, I enjoy working with others. I enjoy listening to what they have to say. I enjoy seeing things in a different way. I enjoy all of the different creative ideas and putting them together to come up with something, and to me, being able to have these relationships and working together, that's like magic too. Like those guys in the Five of Wands needed to work together to create some magic. That's how I see it.
I was just going to say, I enjoy that as well, as long as it's not a group of people that's acting like the people in the Five of Wands, which you kind of get more than you get a group that's really in sync with each other, unless they've all done a little bit of work and, nobody really feels like they have to be, or, if somebody else is supposed to be in charge, they don't get all butthurt about it,
That is true. And then you know what? It takes a lot in order to like have that one person kind of be like the facilitator of the group and kind of have that ability, like that good communication skills of a magician to be able to facilitate something and be able to kind of bring people together, because that's magic in itself. Like if you can sit there and work effectively on getting a group of people to, work well together.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty big too. Yeah.
Case? Like a teacher in a classroom case?
Yeah, like a teacher in a classroom?
Maybe so. Maybe so, Edge. Maybe so.
Oh my gosh. So you got the Two of Cups, and I got the Page of Water, which is cups. And it's obviously a little different from the traditional with the guy with the fish in the cup, which always makes me laugh. But I like this one because it is a new way of understanding, which I think the Page of Cups with the fish in the cup is trying to communicate with something that is very different from him, a fish. And this is a way of understanding where, like, this bird has been in the cage, but all of a sudden the bird is now looking up and sees that even though they thought they were in a cage, there is no cage. The cage was all in their mind. And I think this really, really goes well with the magician, because the magician would say, is perception reality? What is your reality? And if you perceive it in a different way, is your reality going to change? Well, obviously, this bird's reality is about to change, because the realization is there is no cage, there are no bars, there is no roof. Now he can fly free, and where before he thought he was in a cage. So that is just how changing your perception on something can literally be magic. So,
I love that. The idea of setting yourself free. Right?
Yeah,
that's kind of like the thing that was great. Beautiful.
It's so funny when you were talking, Linda. Bruno the blackbird is back now. We have a blackbird. We have like a film on our window because we have a bird feeder outside the window, so the birds don't get scared when we're moving around in here. And we have this little blackbird that comes and visits several times a day, and he like puffs up his little chest, and I think he thinks he's fighting the bird in the reflection, which is
is he a starling?
I don't know what he is. He's black. And he's adorable, and I love him, but I don't want him to give himself a concussion.
No, we don't want him to get a concussion. That's not good.
So I usually like tap on the window, or I like open it up a little.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
No.
Oh, I'll try to get a video for you guys. He'll be back in the morning, probably. But yeah, he's banging on the window right now.
Yeah, how cute. Feed me. Yeah, we started putting peanuts out for the blue jays at my other house, and within about a week, at 6:30 in the morning, they'd be sitting on the pergola like, where are the peanuts? Where are the peanuts? Where are the peanuts?
Yeah, our magpies they'll sit on the little stump in front of our house and start squawking. If one's not out there by like 7
they train us very well.
Definitely.
Okay, so the last part was kind of like talking about how might we use these 2 cards or 1 card in our personal life right now. Linda, do you want to start us off?
Well, yeah, because it really does make sense to me to change, to be able to change something by changing your perception of it. When you think that everything is against you, or everything is down on you, or you've gone through these things just as a punishment, let's just say you've gone through things in your life and you think it's because it's a punishment for what you did or didn't do correctly, which is what I'm bad at, falling down that rabbit hole. And I think that, what I just said earlier about when I think about just my career, for example, just that part of my life, when I realized that I really did achieve the goal that I wanted way back when, not wanting to have a career that felt like it was, sucking my soul out of my body, then I achieved that. I mean, I've had all different kinds of jobs. I've done pretty much every single one of them well. Some I liked better than others, but my goal was to work in order to live, not live to go to work. And I very much did that. And I continue to do that. So when I sit down and think about it and put down, if I was going to put a list of pros and cons, I feel a lot better about things than when I sat down to make the list, because it's like, wait a minute, you've done a lot of stuff. You've got to accomplish a lot of things. Now, did you run for president? Did you do this? No, but that's not something I ever wanted to do. So it doesn't matter,
I love that. I love
So
that
do
you
I.
use the magician to like give yourself a pat on the back. Like you're making
Well,
what you
right. Because everybody's magic is different. Everybody's goals are different. Everybody's desires are different. And I think sometimes even the most aware person, self-aware person can get into a mode where they're doing things just because there's a list on the piece of paper of the things that they have to get done during the day that don't really match up with what they wanted to get out of life, if that makes any sense.
It makes
It's like
perfect sense.
it's like the blessed, we have
you
the blessed to-do list. Let's just get this done. And when I get this done, I have 6 things on my list today. I'm looking at it right now, and I've got them all done. The last one on my list was Tarot Tuesday. I'm doing that. But when we're done, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to have much energy or desire to do something maybe that I would want to do. So maybe I need to put the thing that I would want to do at the top of the list for the next day.
Something that I thought about when you were talking about doing the things that you want to do and how sometimes we don't, it made me think about like societal influences, right? Like sometimes you're kind of told, well, this is something that you should be doing because this is what the people in society are doing, and these are the things that they're working on to accomplish. And if you want to get here, then you should be doing this, and this. And then when your inner knowing and inner feeling goes against that, you're kind of like, oh my God, like what's wrong with me? Like, Angie, did you share using the cards in your personal life?
No, I don't think I did. But I can definitely see how the magician would be, how the 5 of Wands kind of represents my inner world right now. Like there's a lot of different things vying for my attention, and it's just, kind of loud and raucous and chaotic. And I think the magician would pull a quarter out of my ear to get my attention and say, you just pick one, babe. You can do the other ones later. Just pick one and go with it. And if you want to do that today and then the other one tomorrow, that's okay. But right now, you're just giving yourself a headache.
It's like you can do them all. You just can't do them all at the same time.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that about stuff. It just bugs me. But yeah, I think that's how I can look at this for my current situation. There's just a lot of things that I want to do, and I've been for like the past week so paralyzed that I really haven't gotten very much done of any of them because I just sit and
dither
whirl.
Yeah, whirl. Yeah, she's whirling today.
But how about you, Kate? How would you use your magicians and 2 of Cups in your life right now?
Oh, wow. Oh, now I'm like, whoa. The idea of valuing and appreciating the relationships that I have formed in my life. Sometimes I tend to think more about myself than I do about others. And I used to think, oh, no, I'm very good at, really thinking about others and the relationships that I have. And, throughout the past, since I became sober and things are becoming, more clear for me, I realized that I really wasn't. I wasn't doing what I thought I was doing. And I think with the Magician and the 2 of Cups right now, continue really paying attention to these relationships that you have right now with people, and really like bodying the magic of the relationships, really putting my energy into these relationships and making them flourish more. And then it kind of reminds me too, like the Six of Pentacles, the giving and the taking. Sometimes I feel I might receive more than I give. And it's like a reminder for me to, and like you had said, Linda, about perception, how you perceive things, right? Like to me, that's really important because it's now looking in my relationships and making sure that I am seeing them the way that they really are and making sure that I am doing my part to contribute to the longevity of those relationships and allowing them to flourish.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, we have my crones, I call them my crones because that's what we are. But we have a WhatsApp group and it's pretty active. I mean, there'll be like a week or so that will go by, but then we'll have all this flurry of activity. People are doing this and that and traveling and whatever. But even so that we do that, there are times when it's like, you know what, I need to call this person and I need to call, have them talk to her. And every time I do that, it's like, they'll be like, oh, I'm so glad you called because the WhatsApp group is great, but I just love to hear your voice. And, and sometimes they'll call me, same thing. And it's like, yeah, you have to, I remember I was thinking there was one of our symposium meetups, I think, or it might've been something that Shannon did a recording on. And she just mentioned it, about how do you make friends when you're grown, when you're an adult, and I was thinking about that the other day because, some of the friends that I have here in town kind of came about in very, very interesting ways. But yeah, you don't always, I mean, Angie and I became friends because we worked together. And then we discovered that we both lived in Colorado. And then we just had all this other stuff in common and it just kind of grew from there. And obviously you and I met through the symposium because we had the tarot interest in common. But if you don't have that kind of a thing or a group, either an online group or a literal group in your town or whatever that you go to, like a lot of people used to make friends in church because they socialized in church. But yeah, it's just and it's worth cultivating those relationships because you don't know if you're going to make more because it's not always that easy.
Yeah, that's very true. I think about like, it just made me think currently. So my son's girlfriend is having a baby and her mother love her to death. Like she's like really making me feel very like wanted and making me feel very welcomed into her home and participating in all the events, right? Like it's very easy. Like I'm the mother of the son, so that kind of puts me in a different place than the mother of the person who's having the baby.
Well, I don't know because when my grandson had the babies, I mean, she's the one that's been doing all the stuff because the other mother ain't doing much.
Oh, okay. This one, she's like doing everything and I'm not, I have two boys. So all of this is very new to me. So anyway, what I appreciated so much about her is that she wants to involve me in this gender reveal party. And in her family, they're very used to people make things, they cook things, they put things together. I am not used to that. Like in my family, it's we rent a hall, we cater out, like, and I'm not one to like, I don't like to cook. I'm not much of a baker. I'm like, what am I going to participate in all of this? And, the fact that she is asking me to do this and involving me, I can see my resistance to it. And I'm like, okay, well, why are you resisting this? And you need to get out of your comfort zone, and that's how I see the magician too, as he's giving you the tools. I don't like to say he, the magician is giving you the tools to get yourself out of your comfort zone and work on not only with this relationship with this other person, but also working on the relationship with yourself, right? Like I'm resistant to this, but I'm going to do it because you know what? I'm going to get something very enjoyable out of it. You know, that kind of reminded me too of that card that you pulled, the Page of Pentacles with the rainbow. It's like, push yourself, get it done, go through that rainbow, because there's going to be something really beautiful behind it that you just don't know exists yet.
Go
but
on
it's
the
there,
adventure.
you
Make
know,
the casserole.
exactly.
Make the casserole. Bake the bread.
What a lucky baby to have two such,
Yeah,
you know, involved grandmas in their life. That's
and
lovely.
she's made me just feel so good. Like, she'll call me, like, she knew about the pregnancy before I did. And I kind of noticed too, because I was like calling her and trying to hang out with her, and she's like, yeah. And then something came up, and I just kept saying, I'm like, something doesn't feel like she doesn't want to hang out with me. And then, you know, of course, my own, she doesn't like me. That's what it was. Yeah. That's exactly what she said. She said, you know, you're asking me to go out and I want to, but I can't. So I didn't want to call you because I was afraid I couldn't keep it inside, but they weren't ready to, you know, like the whole back and forth part of it. But she's just wonderful. Like, she's really wanting to include me in everything. And to me, that's that Two of Cups, right? It's another relationship.
That's so good. Yeah.
That is starting out for me. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited.
And I love that whole image of the holding the hands and the current coming, because that's that new thing is going to be the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
And this is so much nicer for the new parents as well. When their parents can get along, so and, you know, on the same page. I'm so excited for all of you. This is going to be so beautiful.
Yeah. I'm looking forward.
You'll have to let me know, like, when they pick colors. Yeah. And I'll have to, you know, what colors they like, and I'll have to find some perfect little baby yarn and make some movies and some hats for your little Sagittarius baby.
That is beautiful. Thank you. It's like, it's like you touched my heart there. There you go.
Join us next week. Join us next week when we talk about the High Priestess.